Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Are you sick of looking at Netflix and you don't know what to watch?
So many movies out there, you don't know which ones are good, which ones were bad.
You curious about what's out there?
I'm Joey Powers.
I'm Don Trettler.
This is The Best Pictures.
The ones you don't want to miss.
Hit it. Say hello to my little friend.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Winners go home and prom queen.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I don't deserve this. Deserves got nothing to do with it. No sequel for you.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Best Pictures. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
Hey, and I'm Don Trettler. Welcome to the show.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So,
well, because of this COVID, we've been hunkered down in our bunkers.
yeah, exactly. You know, on lockdown and quarantine, whatever you want to call it.
So that's why we thought it'd be a good idea to talk about some of the movies that we've been watching while we've been hunkering down.
Yeah, because there's not really much else to do.
Right.
You know, I mean, thank God baseball finally, preseason, but still started. So that's at least something.
Friday it should all start.
Yeah, I think Thursday the Yankees play. There's two games, I want to say, Thursday. Yankees, Nationals, and Dodgers, Giants. And then a full slate starting Friday, yeah, so.
That should be fun.
Yeah. 60 games in 70 days, maybe? Not even. You know, they're going to be, I don't know if they have a lot of day-night doubleheaders planned or anything like that. I haven't really looked at it, but it's just good to try, kind of starting to get back to a regular basis.
Right. So what have you been watching? What have you been watching as far as movies or TV shows?
Lately I've been watching The West Wing a lot. It's a fun show. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a very, very talented cast, very witty. You know, it's obviously about the president and his staff. Martin Sheen, Rob Lowe, Bradley Whitford, Allison Janney, Richard Schiff. I can't think of Leo's name right now. John Spencer. Just a really talented group. It won Emmys. I think it won like Best Drama like 4 or 5 years in a row.
Right.
Martin Sheen won like 3 or 4 Emmys. Allison Janney won a few Emmys. I don't know. It's just like I said. It's witty. It's have you seen The American President?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Aaron Sorkin did The American President. He's the creator of The West Wing. And, it's similar to The American President, but it's a little more, like, kind of funny, I guess I would say. Like,
so The West Wing is funny?
No.
No, I was going to say,
it's clever, I guess I would say. That like, the banter that goes on between the staff, because they're all kind of like smartasses with each other. But no, it's a very serious show, but they make it kind of light with some of the humor that they put into it. It's definitely worth watching.
Well, it's good because I missed it the first time around.
Yeah,
and I know it was a pretty popular show.
It was very popular. I think it was on for 7 years.
Wow.
Towards the end, Alan Alda joins the cast, Ed O'Neill, Jimmy Smits. Over the years, they definitely had, a pretty impressive cast of characters, so. I would recommend it if you haven't seen it, which you haven't, so.
Yeah, maybe I'll start watching that.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. All 7 seasons are on Netflix streaming, so.
Neat. I started to watch Ozark, and I've probably watched the majority of the first season. And
that's a pretty popular show.
Yeah, I kind of watch a little bit of it here and there. It kind of reminds me of Breaking Bad.
Really? I've never seen Breaking Bad.
See, Breaking Bad, I did the same thing. I think I watched the first season, and then I kind of like stepped off because it's about, well, you must know. Like,
I know what it's
Breaking
about.
Bad's
Yeah.
Ozark's kind of a similar thing where this guy's an accountant for the mob, and somehow he gets indebted to them, and he has to find a way to launder some money. So it's the same thing. It's these like normal people that get involved in crime, and then they've got to they're struggling. They're trying to keep up with the whole pace of being outlaws. So it reminded me of Breaking Bad. Same thing. Normal people kind of going bad, but it makes me feel dirty when I watch it. I'm kind of like, oh, this is like, I feel like sweaty and sticky when I'm like, oh, I don't think
you have to take a shower when you're done.
Yeah, so I don't watch a lot of it, and I don't binge watch it. So, but what about movies? Have you seen some good movies? Have you rewatched some classics?
Yes, I was just gonna say, I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again. I watched Joker again, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. I was in a little Tarantino kick there for a little while. I mean, they're all great movies. You know, I mean, Pulp Fiction's obviously my favorite movie of all time. I mentioned that before. I mean, out of those that I just mentioned, which one's your favorite, do you think? Between Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joker.
Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction's got to be because it's got this balance to it of it's funny, it's exciting, it's got a great cast.
Yeah.
I love the cast that's in the whole thing. I like the colors. For some reason, I always think of that movie as being a very colorful movie. And I say that because there are a lot of movies I'm noticing that are really like, they're dark. And they filmed them dark. And that one, I don't know, it just sticks out. Now, I like the other ones. I like Reservoir Dogs. I need to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again, because I think my girlfriend wanted to see that one. And I could see it again. That's definitely, it was good enough. And I remember I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked the Joker too. Joker was really good.
Yeah. I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's like 2 hours and like 40-something minutes. We saw it in the movie theater, and it didn't seem like it was that long at all. It kind of like went by really fast.
Sometimes a movie gets that long, it feels that long.
It does. It's like, you know, I need to get up and stretch my legs or something. But that movie, it's just like, wow. You know, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of that, too, has to do with, one, Tarantino style, but two, the way the two leads kind of play off of each other. I thought they were, you know, I mean, yeah, DiCaprio kind of treats Brad Pitt like his slave, whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, their chemistry I thought was great. I thought Brad Pitt was great. I mean, I've given him criticism like the end of Seven. I still think that was terrible acting at the very end of that movie. But, I mean, he nailed it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He won an Oscar, which he was very well deserving of.
Right.
But I mean, to me, that's probably the best performance I've ever seen him. And, you know, I mean.
But he's surprisingly good. I mean, I liked him in Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ones.
That was his first Oscar nomination. He actually won a Golden Globe for that.
And I liked him in the Coen Brothers' Burn After Reading.
I still haven't watched that.
Yeah,
I bought it at the video place before they closed a while ago because you were telling me about it, and I still haven't watched
I don't want to talk it up too much because it's one of my favorites that I can just watch over and over again.
I like the cast. You know, I mean, you can just tell it's going to be a fun movie based on the cast.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you know what I just watched? Up in the Air. Have you seen that?
No, that's George Clooney, right?
Yeah. I haven't seen that. I own it, but I haven't seen it since I think it came out. And it was on like FX or Encore or Star or something.
Now, what is this? What's the plot for this? He's a pilot?
No, that's what I thought. No, he actually gets paid to go around to different companies and fire people. But his whole life is up in the air because he's in the airplane traveling from city to city. Vera Farmiga's in it. Anna Kendrick. It's actually kind of what made Anna Kendrick. Yeah, Colin knows. It kind of made her. I mean, she was already in Twilight, but she was like a bit player in Twilight.
Oh.
And she was actually nominated for an Oscar for this. So it kind of brought her to like more mainstream. She's really good in it. Vera Farmiga's really good in it as well. There's Jason Bateman is in it.
Right.
It's directed by Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son. He did Juno. He wrote it as well.
Oh.
It was nominated for like Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, Supporting Actress. It got nominated for a bunch of Oscars. It's a really, really good movie. You should definitely check it out.
I'm writing down.
Yeah, no, you should.
For sure, it's already on my list somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And Zombieland, Double Tap, I watched recently.
It's as good as the first one?
It's good. It's not as good, but I mean, it's the same type of, it's like, I don't know. It's like, you know how sequels are. They always try to replicate the first one, and they're never the same. But no, it's good. It's definitely worth watching.
I watched a couple of Woody Harrelson's. I was kind of going through and looking, because we've talked about him before in the show, and we both like him. And there are a couple of movies that I hadn't seen that were pretty well regarded. Rampart, which he's a cop, gets involved in a scandal. And then The Messenger, he and Ben Foster, who I've been getting into Ben Foster.
Ben Foster's a good actor. Have you seen Alpha Dog?
No, it's sitting by my video.
Oh, you have? Did I lend it to you, or you?
No, somebody else did.
Okay.
Or gave it to me. I don't know if they want him back.
He's great in that. It's him and Emil Hirsch are pretty much the two leads. But that's another movie that's got a really good cast.
And that's got a guy in it, Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
I really wasn't aware of this actor, but I had watched a movie coincidentally. What's the name of it? It's a kid's name.
I know what you're talking about. You just told me about it.
Robert Downey Jr.'s in it.
Yeah, he's like a rebel kind of high schooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of it. It's gonna drive me nuts, so I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, you text me. You either text me or mentioned it to me.
Well, he was in it and he was pretty good. And
he's
then
the
I watched.
Lead, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Then I watched a documentary about him because he died, unfortunately, at an early age.
He got run over by his own car. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
He was like 27 years old, and
he was a pretty gifted actor, though.
And it seemed like he did a lot. Like he was constantly working. If you look at what he did, he probably had 10 years. I think he did 160 movies or some ridiculous amount of movies. And most of them I haven't seen, but there are a couple of decent ones. He was with Anthony Hopkins in a movie. I can't think of who else. Like I say, Robert Downey Jr. in that one movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's in the Star Trek movies too.
Star Trek, all three of the Star Trek movies.
Do you remember what year this movie came out?
Oh, I want to say 2000.
The one you're talking about?
Maybe, yeah. Might be earlier than that.
Oh, I didn't know he was in Terminator Salvation. Oh, Charlie Bartlett.
Charlie Bartlett, that's it.
What
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
It's a pretty decent movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
So anyway, so I watched that movie, then I watched the movie where he died, and he's in that movie. He's in Alpha Dog with Ben Foster.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Foster's in this documentary about him too. And of course, it's kind of that way for anybody that dies. Everybody says such nice things about him all the time. So everybody that works with him, they're like, oh, he was fantastic. He was great. And he made a friendship with Martin Landau.
Really? Were they?
Martin Landau, and they must have done a movie
I was gonna say,
together,
were they in
and then they
something?
stayed in touch, and they were friends, which was kind of incredible. So
Yeah, because that's quite a big age gap there.
right,
Talking what, like 50, 60 years maybe even, I mean.
easy,
So Landau's got to be close to 80, if not over 80. you know.
right?
Do you ever see Ed Wood?
Yeah,
I don't like the actor whatsoever, but I still think Samuel L. Jackson should have won supporting actor over him. But
yeah. I'm trying to think. There was another one I was watching, and I thought, oh, Joey said somebody else should have won over it. Oh, I know what it was. Philip Seymour Hoffman for Capote. Or was it called Truman? No, I think it's called Capote.
it's Capote. He won.
He won, but
Yeah.
but there was somebody up against him that you thought.
Oh, I think it was Joaquin Phoenix for Walk the Line, wasn't it?
Oh, could have been.
Or I think Heath Ledger was also nominated that year for Brokeback Mountain. But yeah, I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman's one of those actors, like I've said before, I never really cared for him, but he's good in everything.
Right.
He's really, he could play. I mean, did you ever end up watching The Talented Mr. Ripley?
I did.
Because he's kind of like a sleaze, but he pulls it off. He's like a player / sleaze. Like he's like, just some of the lines that he has in that movie. It just, but
I just watched his last leading role. It was called A Most Wanted Man, and it was based on a book by John le Carre. So it was a spy novel, and it takes place in Germany. So most of the leads played Germans, but it was like an American movie about Germans, so that Philip Seymour Hoffman has a German accent, Rachel McAdams has a German accent. Robin Wright is in it, but she plays an American, so she didn't have to adopt an accent for this movie.
I like Robin Wright. I think she's a good actress.
It was a pretty decent movie. I mean, if you can get beyond, they had real Germans in the movie. So the real Germans have real German accents, and then a lot of the Americans just had
crappy German accents.
made up German accents. Philip Seymour Hoffman's pretty good. His accent sounds realistic to me. And Rachel McAdams was trying to do an accent.
I don't think she's a very good actress.
She's really pretty, though.
I was going to say she's pretty. Don't get me wrong.
Every time I see her, I'm like, wow, who's that?
She's definitely attractive, but I mean, like, I couldn't name a role that I thought she was good in.
She was in that mini series that you lent me, the second season of True Detective.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was one of three. It was I'm trying to think. Vince Vaughn,
Colin Farrell, Taylor Kish.
and her
Yeah.
were the four. Which I gotta say, I kind of enjoyed the miniseries. Not as much as the first one. It's kind of a notch down. And you've watched the third one to completion. Have you watched the whole third season?
Not to the end.
Oh.
I keep rewatching it because I really like. Colin's gonna yell at me because I can't pronounce his name right. Mahershala Ali. I think he's a really good actor. But yeah, I keep rewatching I'm just trying to figure out the ending before it gets there because the first one, the end just completely caught me off guard. You saw season 1, right?
I did.
Yeah. I just the climax just it wasn't there to me for whatever reason. Like I expected more, even though I really liked it. The second season, I love the end of that.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody dies. Who cares? It's like. But actually, going into that, I was a big fan of Colin Farrell, and not so much big on Vince Vaughn anymore because it seems obviously not in this instance, but in general, it seems like Vince Vaughn's playing the same character over and over now. It's like Adam Sandler. It's like you're Jack and Jill, you're the longest yard, you're the water boy. I mean, it's all kind of the same, It
kind of blends together.
Yeah, after a while, it's like I'm just sick of it. Vince Vaughn, I thought was great. Colin Farrell, I honestly was a little disappointed in, because I do think he's a really good actor. I didn't think he was great in this though. I think he was miscast. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, but Vince Vaughn.
I thought he was decent, and Adam Sandler, like another one I recommended to you, didn't make my list. Uncut Gems. It's kind of the serious Adam Sandler. It's not real. I should say it's not really a comedy because I'm sure you'll laugh at a couple of parts.
Well, like you mentioned Punch Drunk Love to me, and I was so against that. I was like, I'm not gonna watch that. Adam Sandler can't be a serious actor. I'm not. And he was great. The movie was great. Paul Thomas Anderson, correct?
Right.
Yeah. I think he obviously added a lot to it because of his style. Emma Watson was great.
Yep. Right.
But Adam Sandler was just so, just awkward. It's like the part where he just smashes the sliding glass door or whatever. It's like, where did that come from? Just out of nowhere. Obviously he's a little disturbed or whatever you want to call it. But it's definitely a very good movie, and I think it got 7.6, 7.7, something like that.
Wow, yeah.
So.
I liked it. I liked it enough that I own it, and I've watched it a few times.
I actually bought it. I got it on Netflix, and then after I watched it, I ordered it on Amazon. It's only $5.
Yeah.
Why not? 'Cause I'll watch it again. I know I will.
Speaking of movies where you're trying to predict the end, I think you saw it, The Ghostwriter, with
No, I haven't.
with Ewan McGregor
And Pierce Brosnan, right?
Right.
I want to see that.
It's I think that's Roman Polanski,
I think you're right. I need to write that down.
and
Something.
it was a really good, really well done movie. And I was sitting, my only complaint is I'm sitting there trying to figure out the end like you are. So I'm jumping ahead in the story. So in my mind, I'm going like I'm 2 steps ahead of where the story is, where in the film. And it's not a knock on the film because, like I say, it's really well done. It's well acted. It's a great role for Pierce Brosnan because we're used to seeing him as either Remington Steele or James Bond.
Yeah.
And he's a politician.
A corrupt politician, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think you'll like it. I think it's a pretty decent movie.
I had it on Netflix like a long time ago, and then I ended up. It was when I was with my ex-girlfriend, and then I let her keep the account, and I got a new one, and I never put it back on there. But no, that's definitely one because I like Ewan McGregor too. I think he's a good actor. Polanski, I'm a fan of his. I haven't seen. I think you saw The Pianist.
I did recently,
and you liked it.
I did. I don't know that I was as blown away by it. I think the Holocaust theme kind of, gave it a couple of extra notches in people's books.
He won Best Director for that, and Adrian Brody won Best Actor, which I think caught a lot of people off guard. I think both Oscars honestly caught a lot of people off guard.
Right.
Because it wasn't like a big blockbuster or anything like that. Adrian Brody's not like really a household name.
No.
I
was really surprised that he won that year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were because I honestly, I don't think many people even knew that he was nominated, because like I said, it was not a big blockbuster movie, it wasn't like, I don't even think it ever got a wide release. I think it was just a limited release the entire time.
Yeah.
And
that's a big one. So if we were to look up that year and find out who went up against him, I'll bet there was, maybe it was a weak year too.
I think Jack Nicholson for About Schmidt was the same year because I thought he was going to win.
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, just because it was Jack Nicholson and it didn't seem like there was a big clear-cut favorite.
It's a very different Jack Nicholson. We're used to the big bombastic Jack Nicholson, and in About Schmidt, he's a very subdued.
Oh, what about the hot tub? God, that's one of those things you just can't unsee. It's like I was watching it. I mean, right after it came out. I did not see that coming, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened!" Oh my God, man, he's a good actor. He's a champ. That was awful.
So what other ones did I want? I watched this movie. I thought you would appreciate it. It's called Big Fan, and it's about this guy's a big New York Giants fan, and it's Patton Oswalt, he's a stand-up comedian.
Okay, yep. Is he like? Yeah,
he was on King of Queens.
Okay. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. I know who you're talking. He's like the cousin or whatever. Or the
yeah,
friend.
right.
Yeah,
He's his cousin.
Yeah.
And he's a big New York Giants fan, and he calls into the sports radio shows on a pretty regular basis. So he's got that whole shtick down. But it takes off. It's really cool. You can appreciate it as a sports fan, but then it also has a whole nother angle to the whole thing that's really good. I think you'd like it. It had a good, it was reviewed well, so that's what kind of interests me. I'm getting to a point where I don't want to waste my time on bad movies. So I'm kind of like, you know what? If it didn't get a few stars, I gotta.
That's something. You reminded me of something. I was just going through IMDb, just going through random actors or whatever, and I was on John Travolta's IMDb because. As you know, Kelly Preston just passed. And I was just, I don't know, I was just scrolling through and I saw Battlefield Earth, 2.6.
Wow.
Ranked number 16th lowest. And I was like, oh, so they actually have the low, you can actually go from 1 to 100 of the worst movies of all time? How low do you think the lowest movie is?
Oh man, I would just say 1.
2.0. I was so disappointed. I don't even remember what it was. It was terrible.
Yes, well, some of them are really bad. I've seen that list, that bottom list, and some of those are some really just horrible movies.
Yeah.
But they pick some big budget ones like Battlefield Earth too.
Yeah, I mean Geely's in the 4s, but I mean that was a big budget flop.
And if you haven't watched our show before, Joey and I have decided, okay, that 6 is the Mendoza line.
Yes.
You
Even though I will say I did like Gaudy, which was like under 5.
Oh.
But,
I mean, you might get one at 5.8, might be something watchable. We've decided that anything that's pretty much 6 and above is a pretty watchable
it's
film.
a recommended, we would recommend that to someone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend Gaudy necessarily because I liked it, but I like almost anything. So, I mean, we're pretty much out of time this week.
Yeah, I thought we'd have a lot to I had some I didn't even touch on them this week. So, like Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man.
Do you know about Swiss Army Man?
Nope.
It's Paul Dano and
I like him.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, that's a good combination.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I don't even want to start with it.
Right.
It's something else. Let's put it that way.
Well, hopefully we can be back next
And
week.
Bad Milo. Have you ever heard this
No.
movie, Bad Milo? Can't think of who's in it. No, not David Strathairn. The other guy. I can't think what his Peter. Stormare.
He's good.
He's in this movie.
I like it.
It's about this guy. This guy has this creature come out of his butt.
I guess that's a good way to
I don't
end
know if
the
it
show.
made 6 on IMDb though.
All right, well, hopefully next week be back. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
I'm Don Tretler. These are the ones you don't want to miss.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. Here's Johnny.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.